So when you hear about the global war on terror, your mind probably jumps straight to the Middle East, right? But what if I told you there's a shadow war being fought much, much closer to home? Yeah, right here in our own hemisphere. Let's get into it. Because there's this incredibly complex and dangerous network that's been operating in the Americas for decades, pretty much out of sight.
And that's the big question, isn't it? How does a group like Hezbollah, based thousands of miles away in Lebanon, manage to build a massive criminal and operational empire in Latin America? We're going to unpack that and explore what it all means for security across the hemisphere, including right here at home.
So you might be wondering, if this network is so hidden, how do we even know about it? Well, it all starts with a pretty dramatic plot that was busted just recently, and it's a stark reminder that this threat is very real and very current. Okay, get this. It's November 2023, just a month after the October 7th attacks in Israel. Brazilian authorities get a tip from Israel's Mossad, and they move in fast. They end up arresting these alleged Hezbollah operatives who are in the advanced stages of planning attacks against Jewish community centers and synagogues in Brazil. This wasn't just some vague idea. It was an active, concrete plot, a wake-up call that this network isn't dormant, it's operational, today.
But that plot in Brazil, that's really just the latest chapter in a very, very long story. To really get the scale of Hezbollah's presence here, you've got to go back. You have to see just how deep these roots actually go.
All right, so a quick 101 for anyone not familiar. Hezbollah is complicated. It's a political party in Lebanon, sure. It runs social services, but it's also an incredibly powerful militant group, labeled a terrorist organization by a lot of countries, and, this is key, it's a major proxy for its #1 backer, Iran.
And their violent track record in the Americas goes back decades. Way before 9/11, Hezbollah pulled off 2 of the deadliest terror attacks the hemisphere has ever seen, both in Buenos Aires. First, the Israeli embassy in '92, then, just 2 years later, the Amia Jewish Community Center. And we're not talking small-scale stuff here. These were massive, devastating bombings that proved they could strike hard, far, far from home.
So the big question is, how does a group like Hezbollah actually pay for all these global operations? The answer is a sprawling criminal enterprise. This is the point where terrorism and organized crime basically merge into one.
I mean, just look at this list. What's absolutely wild is the sheer diversity of their criminal portfolio. This isn't just one thing. It is a full-blown, multi-billion-dollar business model built to fund terror. We're talking huge amounts of cocaine trafficking, sophisticated money laundering operations all over the globe, arms dealing, even illegal mining. They all feed into each other, creating this resilient and, frankly, incredibly profitable network.
And here's the ticker. They are not doing this alone. Hezbollah has built powerful alliances with some of Latin America's most infamous criminal groups. We're talking about Brazil's PCC and Mexico's notoriously brutal Zetas cartel. By partnering up, they tap into pre-existing smuggling routes to move drugs, weapons, and money with ruthless efficiency.
And this gives you a sense of just how sophisticated they are. It's not clumsy. They'll hide literal tons of cocaine inside otherwise legitimate shipments, like charcoal, making it almost impossible for law enforcement to find. This isn't just crime, it's a global logistics operation funding terror.
All right, so we've covered the what and the how. Now let's talk about the where. It turns out there are 2 key spots in South America that have become these critical sanctuaries, these safe havens that let the whole criminal terrorist network just thrive.
First up, the notorious tri-border area, or TBA, where Paraguay, Brazil, and Argentina all meet. People call it a lawless frontier for a reason. You've got borders you can cross in minutes, massive corruption, and very little government oversight. It's the perfect storm, an ideal pressure cooker for money laundering, smuggling, and, you guessed it, financing terrorism. But the TBA is just one model, based on chaos. The second hub, Venezuela, is a whole different ballgame. This isn't about exploiting weak governments. This is about state sponsorship. The Venezuelan government, with its super close ties to Iran, has allegedly given Hezbollah a safe haven, complete with diplomatic protection, fake passports, and direct collaboration. It's a game changer. And this is where it gets even more concerning. The threat from Venezuela seems to be shifting from just fundraising to something way more dangerous. There are reports that places like Isla de Margarita are being used for paramilitary training. That suggests a terrifying shift from just a financial hub to an operational launchpad for attacks right here in the Western Hemisphere.
So why does any of this matter to you? Because this network isn't just a regional headache. Its tentacles are long, and believe me, they are reaching directly toward the United States.
And I'm not being theoretical here. This threat is literally knocking at the door. In March of 2024, a Lebanese national was picked up at the U.S. southern border. During questioning, he claims he's a member of Hezbollah, that he was trained as a bomb maker, and that his final destination was New York City, specifically to make a bomb. That brought the threat from a distant concept to a very tangible, very immediate reality.
But here's the crazy part. Just as this threat seems to be getting more real, official attention seems to have drifted away. The last big public congressional hearing focused specifically on this issue? 2015. The last big government report? 2016. With the U.S. national security world laser-focused on China and Russia, this issue has just kinda fallen off the radar.
And experts are sounding the alarm. People like Selena Realuyo at the Wilson Center are warning that without a renewed focus, without dedicated resources, the whole region remains vulnerable, a soft target. That means the network can keep operating, keep raising money, and keep plotting, all while we're looking the other way.
All of which leaves us with a final and pretty unsettling question. While the world's attention is on huge conflicts in Europe and Asia, this sophisticated criminal and terrorist network just keeps growing in the shadows, closer to home than most of us realize. So you have to ask, who's watching America's backyard?